In every community, there is always that one person, charming, convincing, but dangerous with words, a master of deception, a builder of lies, and a destroyer of trust. What happens when one lie spirals into many and truth finally catches up? Welcome to another gripping episode from Black Sub Stories TV. Today we unveil the book titled The Portrait of a Liar by Felix Obaka. Sit tight and enjoy it. Itama, the son of Eromo, was a traditionalist from Adogun village. He disliked the village elder Ayode, who led a council of elders known as Edionene. Ayode held the title of Idioma, the most senior position in Adogun village. While the village revered the Okpo, a sacred staff used in conflict resolution, Ayode rejected it and preferred using the Bible for leadership, showing his opposition to traditional authority. More so, Itama believed that Ayode had come to sabotage the benefits enjoyed by the elders because he often pardoned offenders and refused to ask them to pay the usual fines of fowls and goats. One day, Anna, the second wife of Eromo, the stepmother of Itama, had prepared food late for her husband, which angered Eromo. Unable to decide on the punishment, he presented the matter before the council of elders. When Anna appeared before the elders, she apologized and explained that she was late preparing food because she had stomach pain and needed medication. She managed to cook the food, but it wasn't ready in time. The elders listened to Anna's explanation and asked Eromo to forgive her and treat her with love and understanding. Eromo was satisfied with the judgment, but Itama, who was listening from a distance, was angry. Itama felt Anna should have been punished and suggested she should be banned from cooking until she could pay the fine determined by the elders. He thought this would elevate his mother's status as the favorite wife, even temporarily. Itama was so disruptive during the meeting that the elders called him to explain his behavior. He responded rudely and walked out on them. The elders were confused about what they had done to deserve such disrespect and ordered Eromo to bring Itama before the elders on the next market day. When Eromo returned home, he informed Itama about the elders' summon. Eromo repeatedly tried to guide his son Itama, disciplining and counseling him, but without success. Itama remained rude, stubborn, and a compulsive liar. He once beat his younger siblings over fried termites, claiming the big ones were unfairly eaten. Eromo was troubled by his behavior. In another incident, Itama spread false rumors about his friend Itoya, who refused to lend him gambling money. Out of spite, Itama lied that Itoya had watched a married woman baiting, leading to Itoya being severely beaten by her husband and losing an eye. The truth later emerged, and when confronted, he claimed it was a joke. He was only spared punishment after his parents begged the elders. Itama disrespected the elders by refusing their invitation. Instead, he spent the day hunting birds. His behavior disappointed the elders, who held Eromo responsible for his upbringing. They fined Eromo a he-goat which he struggled to pay due to poor crop yield and lack of financial support. As a result, Eromo was suspended from communal activities and was shunned by others. After 2 months, he borrowed money at a high interest rate to pay the fine and resumed social acceptance. Upon payment, Ayode advised Teromo to warn his son, fearing that Itama's conduct could cause him to be disliked and rejected by society. Ayode's reign was peaceful. He worked in conjunction with the village youths to establish a youth association. An election was held to vote for the leader of the association. Itama tried to hijack the process so he could use the group against the Idioma. Thus, he sponsored and campaigned for Dada to win. Instead, Enofe won the election. Enofe was a respectable farmer and welder who was loved by all. He worked closely with the elders and led the youth in community development projects and security of lives and properties. Itama was disappointed that his candidate did not win and vowed to surprise Enofe. A week later, Itama went to his farm, which bordered that of his unsuspecting neighbor Enofe. Fueled by malice and jealousy, Itama sneaked into Enofe's land and carefully dug a hole in the narrow path leading to Enofe's hut. In it, he set a cruel iron trap and covered it with dry grasses, confident that Enofe would step on it and suffer. But fate had other plans. Enofe, having overworked himself the previous week, had fallen ill from exhaustion and was forced to rest. Just as he began to recover, his daughter was also struck with convulsion, and her condition kept him away from the farm for another 2 weeks. In all, he stayed away for full 3 weeks, unknowingly escaping the evil that was laid in wait for him. 3 days after Itama set the trap, his sister Janet asked to accompany him to the farm. She hoped to harvest water leaves to sell in the market and finally collect her long overdue cloth from the tailor. At the farm, she quickly filled 2 bags and began working on the third. But when she ran out of vegetables on her side of the land, she looked up and saw an abundance of fresh leaves across the border on Enofe's farm. With innocent intentions, Janet crossed over to gather more. After harvesting, she realized she had left her knife behind. As she returned to fetch it, her eyes caught a terrible sight. A huge snake coiled around the very knife she had used. Screaming in fear, she ran blindly towards Enofe's hut. She stopped only when she realized the snake wasn't chasing her. Relieved and exhausted, she decided to rest briefly at Enofe's hut before heading back. But then, in a sudden moment of horror, she felt a sharp snap across her leg. The iron trap had clamped around her flesh, sending unbearable pain through her body. Her scream echoed across the quiet farm. Itama came running and quickly freed her from the trap, but it was too late. 2 deep wounds gushed blood from her leg. In the twist of cruel irony, the trap Itama had set for Enofe had caught his own sister. Trying to deflect blame, Itama accused Enofe of setting the trap. But Janet, still in agony, wondered why Enofe would do such a thing. She had no idea that her own brother was the real culprit. Word of Janet's injuries spread quickly. People wept for her, for she was known as a respectable and kind-hearted girl, loved by all. When Enofe saw the bloody trap left behind in Itama's haste, he immediately understood the truth. The evidence was clear. He realized that Itama, whom he had once considered a peaceful neighbor, was an enemy in disguise. From that day on, Enofe feared him. According to the traditions of Adogun, a man who had no grandchildren would be buried in the forest instead of being buried in his compound. Thus, when Itama came of age, Eromo pleaded severally with him to get married, but Itama refused. He felt women were too much trouble. After much persuasion, Itama finally got married to Ada, a beautiful, tall, dark-skinned lady who was humble and hardworking. Itama ruled Ada and her children with iron fist, and severally, Eromo would come and settle disputes between them. He would beg Ada to be patient, and Ada, who was from a polygamous home, did not leave because she knew the evils of polygamy and did not want her children to suffer what she had suffered. Itama continued plotting against Enofe and Ayode. However, Ayode died of old age before Itama could carry out his plans, leaving Itama frustrated. He then shifted his hatred to Ayode's son Ododo, a tall, light-complexioned man known for his humor and close friendship with Enofe. They both belonged to the Diadem Club, a group of respectable, helpful men. After Ayode's death, Oyobo became the Idioma of Adogun village. He was a traditionalist, thus he reinstates the Okpo system of paying fines and swearing oaths to prove innocence. One day, Itama visited Oyobo with a bottle of gin. Once welcomed, Itama falsely accused Ododo, the son of Ayode, of committing adultery with Hilda, Enofe's wife. Oyobo was shocked by the accusation, especially because he respected Ododo. Despite his disbelief, he assured Itama that the case would be dealt with. A council meeting was called. Oyobo invited Ododo, Enofe, and Hilda. Itama was also invited, and all arrived at 8 a.m. Oyobo asked Itama to report his case, and he stood up and accused Ododo and Enofe's wife of committing adultery in the backyard, speaking with an insultive tone. Ododo was shocked as he listened to Itama's accusations. Ododo suggested Itama was unhappy with himself and resorted to lies. Itama called Ododo crazy, and the atmosphere became crazy with sadness. Enofe was surprised and internally questioned what he would do if the accusations were true, and how he could continue to live in the village. Hilda initially stared at Itama with anger, then rushed at him, grabbing his collar, demanding to know what he was vomiting. When the elders asked her to calm down, she questioned how they could expect calmness when Itama was damaging her name and future. Ododo denied the allegations. Enofe defended Hilda, saying they had been working together on their farm until 5 p.m. on the day in question. They returned home together, had dinner together before going to bed. When Enofe questioned Itama's allegations, Itama called him stupid and asked if Enofe was calling him a liar. Enofe confirmed that he believed Itama was a big liar. The elders intervened and asked Itama if he would be ready to swear that he actually saw Ododo and Hilda. Itama answered that he was ready to swear on anything, including the Okpo. The elders reminded the trio of Itama, Ododo, and Hilda that the curse which would befall the liar was irreversible, and asked them if they were still willing to go ahead with the swearing. The trio agreed. The whispers of the scandal had already spread through the village when the Idioma made his decision. With stern authority, he directed the elders to take Itama and those he accused to the marketplace. There, in the public square, Itama stood tall before the gathering crowd, his accusations against Ododo and Enofe's wife hanging in the humid air. The marketplace fell silent as he raised his hand and swore the solemn oath. If I lied against Ododo and Enofe's wife, may I die if I ever eat anything that comes from this or any other market. The weight of such words were not lost on anyone present. To invoke one's own death was to place absolute faith in one's truth. One by one, Enofe's wife and Ododo followed, each swearing their innocence against the allegations of adultery, binding themselves to the same terrible fate should they be lying. But the elders were not satisfied with one sacred location alone. From the marketplace, the procession moved to the Juju shrine in the village square. There, they placed lobes of kola nut upon the central stone. Each person laid their hands on the stone and repeated their oath. The elders then distributed the kola nuts to them to eat, a physical binding of their spoken promises. Enofe's wife faced public disgrace due to the allegations. A week after the oath taking, Ododo was hit by a bicycle. He broke his femur and began bleeding, prompting treatment, first at the dispensary and then with a traditional bone healer. At the dispensary, he encountered Enofe and Hilda, who were treating their sick son, Zachary, from malaria. Tragically, Zachary died a few days later from Lassa fever. This misfortune led the villagers to believe that Hilda and Ododo were indeed guilty of the affair. Although Enofe initially defended his wife, his friends mocked him and eventually he began to doubt her, suspecting she had an affair with Ododo but not on the alleged date. The villagers eagerly awaited the fate of Hilda and Ododo. A year later, just as hope for justice seemed lost, Itama, who had accused them, fell ill, with painful swellings and uncomfortable hiccups. Before dying, he confessed to Eromo and his mother that he had falsely accused Hilda and Ododo out of jealousy. Though Eromo informed the village elders nothing could be done, he brought in a herbalist, Mara, but Itama's condition worsened. Eromo later died, followed by Itama's mother 3 months after. News of Itama's confession spread quickly, and Ododo celebrated with the villagers. Itama died on a market day. Hilda and Enofe laughed when they heard the news. Hilda was finally vindicated and at peace. Our dear listeners, we have come to the end of today's story. This story teaches us that truth will eventually come to light. No matter how long it takes, lies are eventually exposed and justice prevails. What lessons have you learned from today's story? Do share them in the comment section. Thank you for listening. Are you an author looking to bring your book to life in a visually engaging way? Black Sub Stories TV offers a unique opportunity to transform your story into a captivating video adaptation, helping you reach a wider audience and boost your book's visibility. Whether it is drama, fiction, or real-life stories, we can create high-quality cinematic videos that reflect the essence of your work. Don't just tell your story, let us show it. Contact us today at ogbemudiaoluwakemigrace@gmail.com to discuss how we can turn your book into an unforgettable visual experience. Thank you. Please, if you are not yet a subscriber, please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.
Echoes of pages where the stories thrive. Black souls tales keep dreams alive. From African authors with voices so bold, timeless treasures, the words unfold. Black Soul Stories TV calling you. A world of books with a vibrant view. Pick up a it speak to your soul. Reading ignites, making hearts whole. In a time where books seem to fade, our heritage through words is not betrayed. From villages wide to city dust, through tales of love and secrets robust. Black soap stories, TV calling you. A world of books with a vibrant view. Pick up the tale, let it speak to your soul. Reading ignites, making hearts whole. In a time where books seem to fade, our heritage through words is not betrayed. From villages wide to city dust, through tales of love and secrets robust. Oh, black soap stories, TV calling you. A world of books with a vibrant view. Pick up a tale, let it speak to your soul. Reading ignites, making hearts whole. Feel the drumbeat as the pages turn. Through wisdom and fire our spirits burn. A book in your hands is a key to the light. Join the journey, take flight tonight. From folklore deep to cities high, stories that teach and make us cry. African flute singers, wisdom flows. Dive in the magic where the rhythm grows. From folklore deep to cities high, stories that teach and make us cry. African flute singers, wisdom flows. Dive in the magic where the rhythm grows.